Hello everybody and welcome to How to Make a 9 Circles level remastered, reboot, edition, version. I don't know, but here it is. So, let's just get started. First thing you need to do is find a song. Usually the songs are usually dubstep and pretty intense, but you do you. And second of all, we need to make a name. How about this? Sounds good to me. Okay, step 1 is make a layout. If you don't know how to make a layout, there's plenty of videos online, I'm sure on the internet, that you probably can look and figure out how to make a layout. But in general, usually circles levels have the cube and then the ship and then sometimes the ball and then back to the cube and then the wave. But you can mix it up however you want. It doesn't really matter. Wave, you can use usually wave, but you could just do whatever you want. So this is a classic level, so I just made it all wave and like that such. Once you've made your layout, you need to structure it. So you just kind of do this, or you can delete the blocks. Usually 9 Circles levels have these outline blocks to use, so we'll use those. So most of the time you're going to have like some structures like this. It's going to be like a line and then there's going to be an empty space. And you're going to have just these types of structures that are just open like this. Do it like this. Got a nice little structure here. These are very simple levels. I mean, they're not that hard to make anymore. If you have a very limited knowledge of the editor, as long as you know how to use a color trigger, you're basically well off. But nobody usually makes these anymore, but I'm here to provide a tutorial because it seems like there's good ones, but they don't show how to make from complete to end, and then there is some, and they're not very good in my opinion. So this is the remastered edition, so we're going to try to do better. I believe I've gotten better as a creator in this long amount of time, so who knows? Another thing is that when you make these classic circles levels, is they have weird, I wouldn't say weird, but more like old structuring. So you usually don't make a block these days this empty, but back then that's what they did, because that was like 10 years ago, so, or 9 years ago, so, and I didn't even start playing the game then. Always gotta have that clubstep monster, and he's always gotta have a weird face. Also, when you're making a layout, this is just some general tips. You want to fill in some gaps because it just makes it easier to decorate. Like this, for example, you probably want to put something there, like a spike or a structure that could kill you, or just a simple saw blade or a gear like this or something that won't kill anybody, interfere with the gameplay. So I'm just putting some random gears that won't interfere with the gameplay, just to fill it up, because you don't want no empty gameplay. That sucks. So once you finish the block structuring along with your layout, you're going to go back to layer 0. This is how I do it. And you can delete all of your base blocks unless you've made a layout with the line blocks and already have done some of the structuring. Now, this may not be the most efficient way to some of you ultra great creators, but once you do that, put it back on the layer, and then there you go. Once you've done that, go back to layer 1. I like to do this just because you don't have to, but it keeps me organized. You can move this stuff, all this stuff to the, you move all this stuff back, you can move all of this back to the first layer, and then you go, how do you do that is you go to edit group and you click editor L and you click 1. Structuring complete. This looks like this. Let's add some spikes here because he's got to have some teeth. What we'll move next is to the colors. So it has the Arctic Lights song. So we're gonna have, I think we're gonna have a maybe a bit of a kind of like a white but dark background color. That looked kind of ugly. Maybe something a little bit more. And then, I mean, since we're being lazy and making 9 circles of it, we're going to click G and copy color. Copy the ground, the background, and make it, I don't know, a little bit darker. So it looks something like that. But I don't know if I like this color yet. I think I'm going to try and change it. You know what? We're just going to go with a brighter color. There, here, we got some cyan. I don't know what this color is. This is the color I'm going with. I don't know what it's going to look like. It kind of looks like that stupid classical by that one dude. It's not the one, but it's the green one, if you know what that one is. Okay, so block design. Okay, so generally 9 circles levels use a very limited amount of blocks for their beginning decoration. So they use these, and these, besides these. But this is 2.2. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to use these because these are the most classic. They're like from the original 9 circles. And so yeah, we're going to use these. But we're going to choose a color. So color 1, what do we want color 1 to be? We're going to make it a brighter version of the background. So we're going to try and emulate that. That looks good. That looks good. I actually had that on the money right there. Color. So, maybe let's do more of a white, like a more of a white-ish green. And I'm going to make the middle block one of these. So, and this is the detail. So you made 2. Yeah, that looks good. So just use your blocks accordingly. This looks really basic now, and everybody would tell you it's trash. But back then, this was rate-worthy. This looks like generic 9 circles level from 2015. Except we're forgetting one thing. What are we forgetting? 3D. 3D was crazy at 1.9. Everybody loves the 3D at 1.9 because they use it. So using this blocks will just make a 3D pattern. Do I like 3D anymore? No, but I'm keeping this fairly original to the style that it had back then. So you can add any kind of these colors, but I always thought that black looked the best. It kind of shocks me how nobody uses this anymore, or if they do use it, it's sparingly. It's kind of like mirror portals. So there's that, and then when it's 3D, when spikes are in 3D, you kind of want to like make them kind of like float on them. So, because they look stupid if they're just sitting in them. So that make it kind of look like that. So once you have this is your block design. This is how you're gonna make every block look like. Creating is not. You can't just listen to me. You have to be a little bit creative, and it takes time to be good. And I'm not even good, so it takes time. This is just showing you how to make a very simple level that everyone makes usually. For this, you want to make sure when you're doing 3D that it matches and it's going the right direction from the bottom one, because it'll look ugly if you use it the wrong way. I always like 9 circles levels. 9 circles levels are, to be honest, it's probably just the music. I think people like the music. They're very intense and kind of crazy. I think that's why everybody used to like them. A lot of people hate them now. I'm not that type of person who hates them. I still make them to this day. I am known as the 9 circles man. So these big things you can fill in with this color, with these blocks. It doesn't look that crazy, but it'll do it. For these clubstep monsters, since there's not really a lot of clubstep monsters in 9 circles levels, I'm gonna use the black block. The black block will look nice. And raise this guy's eyebrow just a little bit, so he doesn't look stupid. Okay, you have created a 9 circles block design. Congratulations. Let me raise this up here just a little bit. So, it looks great, but we're missing something. What are we missing? Ground spikes. Just things that are on the floor that kill you, so you don't cheat. So, 9 circles levels usually use, if I remember correctly, they like to use these, I believe. They like to use these. I've also seen circles levels use these, the spikes in these ones. So, either or, you can make it however you want. This is your level. Okay, so ground spikes, very simple for a circles level. But I think we're going to add, what the heck happened here? So this is what happens. I just don't understand where those come from. Okay. Now, these look great and all, but you need just something in there to make it look better. So, 9 circles levels, old 9 circles levels, use these a lot. And they're either the player color or the color of something. Of color that you choose. So, and you can add them in the blank spaces too. We also need something to fill the background. The background is very blank right now, besides the bottom. So, what do we do with that? We do the old arrow. The old arrow. Arrows fill everything up, and they just fix it all. Arrows. We're going to get this arrow because we like this arrow, and we're going to change it the color to 1 because 1 is great. Because that's what we're going to do. So, we're going to get this arrow because this arrow is great, and we're going to have it color 1, and we're going to use something else to make it a little bit, make it stand out a little bit. So, let's use this. With a big arrow. And we're going to make this one color 2 to just give it a little bit of a difference. So we need a big arrow that just tells you, go this way. So we'll add another one in here between the clubstep monster because we got to. And then we'll add another one here because it just tells you to go straight. That's all it tells you. The 9 circles level is also used for the background. These types of bricks right here. So we're going to go to another layer where it's not, where we don't touch any of the stuff we just made, and we're going to make a structure. Okay, so me and post edit, this is what people usually use. Things like fairy dust and stuff, and they would copy over the background, and it would go over the blocks. So that's what you people usually do. It's a lazier way. But what I'm doing in the level that I showed you is just kind of making a weird structure like this in between the blocks, and then adding stuff like this. So hopefully that clears things up. We're gonna just add some interesting things here. So we're gonna do, I don't know what I'm doing here, but we're gonna fly with it. And we'll add some weird structure here, and we'll make a lighter color there. Here we can make kind of like some weird pattern or something. I don't know what pattern I'm doing right now, but this isn't usually how they make them, but I'm going to make them this way because I want to. Once you have your weird like designs here, or if you just made the pillar to go behind, you're gonna get these kind of like, where are they? These ones, and you're gonna kind of like connect them up so it doesn't look so rough. Smooth it out, I suppose. try not to make it interrupt your arrows, because then it'll just get more messy. So when you're done with your background, I guess this is what this would be. I guess just select all of it, or make it go to edit group and it'll make it B4. There's B5 now? Man, I am so out of touch with this game. So then it looks like this. I don't know if it looks good or not. It probably doesn't. It looks like crap, but who cares? So there's this, and we're still not done yet because we have some of these floating. Now, whatever you want to do, you can do whatever you want to do with this, but since it's 1.9, I'm going to use these chains. Like that. So, next we're going to do something really simple and just make these spikes have these saw blades have something in them. So we're gonna just kind of put these things in here, and we're gonna just stick them in the ones that we have. So after this, I think you're almost done, but we need to add something else. So where did my yellow orb go? That's weird. Okay. Some of these things, these great fillers, I guess you want to call them. So we're gonna just place them in places empty. You can make them the player color, or does white look good with all this? Yeah, white does look good with all this. Since it's supposed to be snowy, we'll make it white. We're gonna just do that. This looks pretty good so far. For just simple circles level, looks pretty good. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna give you an eye, because we forgot to give him an eye. Let's give this, he has a very irritated eye right here. We're gonna give it a little bit of a play here. Okay, so it looks alright, but I think we need pulses. So we're going to go up here, is we're going to, you know what we should do? We should change the object color. I said we should do it at the start, but where's the object color? It used to be here. Well, we'll change it from here. So object color, we'll make it like a brighter version of that. So make it like a very much brighter version of it. And then actually, since we're going to do this, we're going to take the, because we want 3D, this is the 3D line, so we're going to take it and we're going to make it copy the object. So that's what that looks like. So that makes it look better. That makes it look better already. Sometimes the white just doesn't work very well. So we're going to add some pulses. So I'm going to make a pulse for the background for every beat. So how to make a pulse with just color channels it's not that hard. So if you take your regular color, click copy and paste, and then you take another color and make it 0, and then just up the brightness. So we get a pulse. So we made one pulse. So we're going to just follow the beat. So this, just doing this already just makes it look much better than what it did. Oops. The objects still need a pulse, so we're going to add something in the middle of every beat. So we're going to take the color 1, and we're going to do the same thing we did to what we did with the background color. So copy that, and then paste that, blending, and then we're going to take it, and so we can either make it go darker or higher. So I haven't done making it go darker. Let's see how that looks. That looks kind of good. So actually, let's do something interesting. Let's make kind of like a 9 circles effect before the 9 circles effects. Let's make this 2. Make this 2 as well, but we're gonna go back and copy, paste. So it'll be kind of like a fun, interesting circles effect. So yeah. So we'll do that every other. Yeah, that looks better. Do every other. So once we've added these pulses, very simple. It makes it look much better. So let's play it. So that looks really nice. So there you go. So you've made your block design for your 9 circles level. Very simple, very easy to do. You can be creative. It doesn't have to exactly look like this, but generally this is what they look like. So there's that, and this will follow with any sort of cube section you make. So it will go with the just before the drop, and it also will go for after the drop. So we'll create that like we did with this. So that is your block design for a 9 circles level. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do after you've created your block design is the ship section. Now the ship section is very easy, like the block design. So let's put a start position here so we know where the top is. So it's outline, like we're going to use the same outline blocks for this. So we're going to do that. These are the 9 circle stuff usually has these angled parts. Not all of them do. Some of them use a mix like mine does, because just having these kind of looks a bit ugly, and it's also kind of annoying, but this is pretty simple to do. You just follow along with your decoration that you made. Now you could, here's a benefit, you could just go straight down, but that doesn't add very much character, so you can kind of like bend it back, and that just makes it look that much more interesting. So like this one's already this way, and if you did that again, it just looks like you copied it. So we could make it go this, like this. Okay, there you go. And then we've got some basic. These spikes can just be set on a regular block. Another thing you can do in here is just to add some characters, just make it bendy, I guess. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I guess it is bendy. So there you go. And then don't forget to fill in your corners right here. This is important. It looks ugly if you don't fill them in, or somebody will just say, "Hey, you didn't fill your corners in." Oh, there's how you structure it. So you do the same thing you did, just delete your other objects. We're actually going to leave that on that layer, and we're just going to decorate from this so we don't have to worry about messing up with it. So this is really simple to do. You can either use, you're going to have to use slope blocks. So 9 circles levels, I use these or these. So since it's a how-to, we'll use both. So I'm going to use this one. Now, on older circles levels, the problem I've seen with these is that they use the blocks, but they don't. They use the wrong interior blocks, so they'll use like this. And see, that looks weird, that looks bad. So they made a block specifically for this, so it looks like it fills it in better. So that's great. So I'm just going to alternate. So then you can also do the easier one. They're both easy, but sometimes people use this with these ones. So these are easy as well. Just fill in like you do with the other ones. And then you'll go back to your other blocks and you'll use these ones, the ones that connect, the 4 ones. That's what I should have done. I should make these different colors. So let me do that right here. Let me make this one 2. So that looks more interesting than just having it all the same color. So we're going to use this type of block for these in the ship. It's just super simple. It's basically like we already did, like that. So there you go. And then we'll change up here. We'll go back to this one. Block design is done in here, at least. So now you're gonna go back to ground spikes. Now we already used these, so maybe we can change it up a little bit and use these. So let's add these spikes and make it 1 block away from these, because it won't mesh together or look good if you have it right up against it, because there's not a block for you to, except these blocks. There's not a block for you to, because if you run right through it, it looks okay, but not very great. So we're just going to add these. Okay, once we've added these, we're going to add these spikes. These just look great. These are amazing. Everybody loves these. Everybody loves the blocks that look like spikes. I like them. I like them a lot. I use them in more modern levels that I create, which may be lazy to some people, but who knows. So I wonder if this looks interesting. If we just use this and make it a layer back. I don't know. It kind of looks interesting. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. It'll probably look ugly, but we're just going to do it. Just going to wing it. The thing with creating is just practice, practice, practice. And then we will add some saws. So let's use these invisible, not the invisible ones, but the ones that are clear, so you can see what you like did. We'll make sure we fill in one of these spots just to make it look better. And then since we'll do that, we'll add some of these weird other things. So we'll just do that. So what the background for these look like is, so we're going to go up, do a different layer, and they usually old circles levels. This includes the ship and the ball and any other thing that you create. Is back to these blocks again, and usually there's a pattern in it, some weird arrow pattern or something. Let's do something like that, like some weird arrow pattern. So there's the darkest, and they'll go from the lightest. And just do that. It looks weird, but this is what they used to do. So we'll go even lighter on each side until we get to the brightest one, and then we'll go back into the darkest. And then we'll go back and back to it. And then at the end here, you can add these. Once you're done with your design that I did here for the background. You can add your, once you've done your design, you can just either leave it like that, or you can do something with these just to make it look more finished, I guess is the right word. Make it look like it ended right. So then we'll just select all of it, and we'll go before. And then I like to, so if you have like blocks like this, I just like to delete so it doesn't have bad layering, so it looks better. So there you go. Oops. There you go. This looks much better. This looks like an actual circles oval. Then you want to add your arrows. Now I think I'm just gonna, since we already have a pretty heavy background, I'm just gonna add like just a couple, just some of these arrows just to say where you're going. And I think I'll just carry, I'll be lazy and I'll just carry the same pulse idea from the block section. Something like this. Like that. So this looks okay to me. It's not great, but it looks okay. Obviously, circles level. So now I'll move on to the next part. Okay, so the next part is going to be like the cube, but there's going to be some, since it's part of the song where it's before the drop, we're going to build more intensity. So basically we're going to do the same block design that we did here, but we're going to do some more with the pulses. We're going to make the background fade to black and maybe do some more like flashing here, because you want intensity before you get to the drop. You don't just want it to be like this while you're getting to the drop, because that's kind of boring. So, and it won't match the feeling of the song. So I'll be right back after I've decorated the blocks and structured the layout. Okay, so I'm back. I have made these decorations. Basically the same thing. The only thing I did was add some of these connector blocks, and I didn't add any 3D because it's bass drop, so I added some arrows that just are in different colors. So we're adding these, which I just shortened up here, and it's going to make it look much quicker. And we're also going to take the BG and we're going to make it black, and we're going to like have it go out to here. We're going to have it go out to this until we get to here. So there's that. Okay, so right here we're going to make this flash back and forth. So we're going to have this go black and this go black, like on and off. So we're going to take color 1 and shorten it so it's 0 and make it black. And then we're going to take it and we're going to make it 1 apart. And we're going to go back to the regular color 1 right here, and we'll just copy it and paste it so it's flashing back and forth. And then we'll do that until about here, and then we'll take the 2 and do the same thing with the 2, make it fade to black, and then for that 2 we'll also make it the same color, make it back to normal, however normal 2 color looks, paste. So basically like this. Then you have that kind of intensity. So, and then we're going to fade the colors here just to really quickly back to black. And since we're there, we're going to make it all the way up to 4. Well, all from 1, 2, and 3, and 4, because we're going to use 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the circles effect, and you don't want any colors when you're going into there. So it should all just, or, well, I forgot to make them black. There we go. Another thing I forgot is we can make the object darker, so we'll stretch the object out more. So should have something like this, I think. So then this is this pre-drop, so it adds tension, or like, we're ready. And then we're at the drop. So that's how you make the pre-drop part. Basically the same, but with just more intensity with the pulses, more flashing. Okay, so now we're actually going to make the circles part. So what we need to do is put on preview mode since we can't see. So use the preview mode. And we have, now since 2.2 came out, we actually have the blocks with the hitbox, because before we for some reason didn't have any, and we only had these for some reason. We cannot find I couldn't find these ones with the hitbox, so we had to make a layout and then make it invisible. We don't have to do that anymore. This makes it much easier. So you're going to take it and you're going to just kind of line it up like this. I've made the layout, so if you haven't made the layout, you'll have to do this. But we're just going to fill it in like this. Okay, so I've got all the way to here to fill this stuff in. So after I've filled in the corners, this is where we can actually start making the effect. So we're going to take one of these and we're just going to move it over like this and have it in the middle. So we're going to edit object and go to detail and make it 2. So, and then we're just going to kind of mimic the top one, but smaller. And we're going to do 3 all the way up to 4. It's a classic circles level, so it only goes to 4, because back in 1.9 there was only 4 color channels. So, and then we'll just do the same thing like so with all of them. And then sometimes if you have just a simple part like this, you can copy this whole thing and just drop it down like that, and then a detail, and then 2, and then delete the rest that was there. That makes it a lot easier. You can't do it with some of these because it's just not, it won't work, and it's better off you just do it manually. Okay, so I have created and filled in all these things up to here. So we're not going to completely do the circles part today, but I'm just showing you how it works. So we're going to go to another layer so you can't touch this, and we're going to take the black one right here and stick it in between. And we're going to just repeat that process for all the other blocks. Okay, so once you have all these filled, it'll look like this, something like this. So what we're also going to do is we're going to make the spikes, the spikes. Why do I keep saying spikes? We're going to be making the saws. So here's the saws. They use 9 circus levels usually use these saws. So you're going to keep the object, but the detail you're going to have 1. Then this is going to be detail 2. And this is going to be detail 3. This is T1, so you want this to be layered over that, the second one, so it's going to be, and this is going to be T3. And then you have that, so that'll make that effect, and Then you'll make, for the smaller one, you'll have the same, but you'll start with 1, and then you'll do 2, and you'll make it T2. So, and then the smallest one will just be white. So there's your saw blades. Okay, so once you have these all, you know, designed and stuff, you want to add some ground spikes. Now, you can't really see the ground spikes in the circles part, but you should add them anyway, so you can't just cheat. I like to use these ones, so you can use any of them. I can't remember what circles level uses any of them, but I know that some of them use these, so you just put these on the tops and the bottom so you can't cheat the system of this level, especially when it comes to easier levels, because there's more space to. And I know there's going to be some guy that I possibly know that will play this and use all of the swag routes that he possibly can. You know who you are. So these are the ground spikes. So the ground spikes are there, and that's how this looks. Also, at the entrance you can see this, so we'll just copy this down so it looks, so you don't see emptiness. And the same thing with this too. We'll just fill it up. And you know what? I think we should add a spike here. Sometimes add a saw blade. Sometimes it just helps fill it up. Because emptiness is not great. So there you go, you have a part of the circles. So the next thing you're going to do is, some circles levels have arrows. I think most of them do. So we're gonna do something more interesting though this time. I think I want to do something more, well, not interesting, but something just like skinnier, I guess. So we're gonna take these and we're gonna make them go 1, 2, and 3. So you have 3 of those with a row. And we're gonna, you can see this, and you take it by one of these slopes and you click snap and it'll snap it in there. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna add some arrows, and we're gonna do this, or maybe we'll just do that. I don't know. You can add the arrows anywhere you really want, and then do the spam part, and then just add the arrows. Add the arrows. That's all it is. All simple. This like pulsing circle. So we'll take one of them, and I'll make it 1, and then we'll take another one and make it 2. But shrink it just a little bit, and then make it a layer above, and then you have a little flashing circle, like, you know, how it's supposed to be. And then it'll it's like kind of like a, it tells you the point where you need to make a move. So like for here example, I'll just add like them in the corners like that, so it just fills up some space. Okay, so this is your standard circles level. This is how it looks. Some spikes. So detail 1, we're going to do the same thing we did with the saw blades. Detail 2 and detail 3. We'll take this and make this go over this one, and then go over this one. But we've got to make some moves. So then you have a triangular spike that makes a effect, and we'll do the same thing with snapping. Maybe make it a little bit, maybe you can float off just a little bit. I think that makes it look better for some reason. It does to me. Just add some around here. You know, I'm not even going to try to block this. I'm just going to make this a fun challenge for anybody who wants to try and like get through this part. Now I should tell you, these spikes should theoretically be part of your gameplay. now we're going to do the actual effect. So the effect is basically like these, like I've already said, like a really quick flash, but it's much quicker. So you can do this with the colors. So you're going to make it 0. So you're going to make the color 1. It's going to flash whatever color you wanted. So like I'm going to make it like a more of a wintry. So I want like a brighter white blue, and I'll leave it not blending, and I'll make it like, and then I'll leave it like 0, and then I'll take it and move it over just a little bit like this, and then you want to make it black with a little bit of fade. So it should end up something that looks like this for the preview, like that. So then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to copy it over, and you're going to move it to 2. So make it 2. But you're going to change the color. This is how I usually do it. I'm going to change it to, it can either go brighter or darker, but I'm going to make it just a little bit darker and change the color to just a little bit. Or maybe a little bit more blue. So do the same thing, but I make it more blue and a little bit darker, and then 4 will be just the same process, but more blue and a little bit darker. So you should have something that looks like this. Like that. So this is what I like to do. So that's how it works. And then so you should move this up here, and then you just copy and paste it, and that's how you get your effect. So another thing I like to do, now you don't have to do this, but it really adds more detail to the 9 circles effect, is when you get to something like a spam part, you want to kind of like make it much quicker. So like maybe we'll change the effect here to do something else. So instead of 15, we'll make it like 9 or something. So it should be much faster. Yeah. And then you can reverse this, so you can just flip it, and then back to the way you had it. Because it'll just flip it, so it'll make it look, it'll go backwards. You know, play with the effect, you know, just kind of mess around with it. Make it go backwards, make it go forwards, make it flash faster, make it flash slower, and make it go with the music. So like for example, it makes this bam or something, so I'm gonna make like just a wall of them, of the colors that are being changed, so because it just makes it more interesting. So like, so make it, and then make it go back to black, all these back to black. So like, maybe like just a little bit of a fade. So, and then, so since it's this, so we got a little spam part here. 1, so like make it do 1, and then 3, and then 2, and then 4. So I get kind of like a flashing effect. Like an offset flashing, I suppose. So there you go. So that's the part of the circles part that you have your effect. Now you can just make it go straight, and not even do with the weird messing around I did, but it does make it look better. So we're just going to add some background pulses, so we're just going to follow the drum beats. And we're going to make it a bright, like, a bright cyan, bluish. Maybe not too bright, because then it gets, like, you don't want to see, like, all of it, I guess. Just like, pretty bright, but not too bright, so. Do that, and then we'll make it go back to black. We'll have a good fade out. Because you don't want to have a, oops. You don't want to have it black for too long, because it gets hard to see. The background flashing helps a lot, so we'll make it have a beat. We'll have it black, be completely black for a little bit, but so we'll just, for this spammy part, we want the black background to flash a lot, so I'm gonna have it go from this color, make it a little bit brighter, have a 0, and then make this just completely black and have it there. So make this feel really quick, so there you go. So I'm going to start from the beginning and show you what we've done.